Hello.
Hello.
What's going on, champ? What's your take?
Not a lot. I just joined. Are you saying Biden is better than Trump?
By a lot.
By a lot?
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't even go here.
Why is that? Because I think Trump is way better than Biden. Well, first of all, Trump knows how to speak and not fall over every 3 seconds of his life.
Trump said that Obama got us into World War II. Didn't he need help going down a ramp? Oh, yeah, he did.
Yeah, he still can't fall off a bike, though, and make himself look like an idiot in front of the whole world.
Just needs 2 hands to drink a glass, right?
And
he said that there were airports in 1776.
When Trump was president...
Wait, excuse me. Do you want to acknowledge that, champ?
Acknowledge what?
The quotes from Donald Trump I'm just giving you?
Sorry, what were you saying?
He said that magnets go poof in water. He said that there were airports in 1776.
Yeah,
he tried to nuke a hurricane. He said inject disinfectant and a very powerful light to treat COVID.
Okay, yeah, stupid.
Those are complete sentences, sure, but if you're from Cuckoo Bananasville, they might make perfect sense.
Okay, cool. But what about the bigger picture of the wars? So no...
So we're not going to acknowledge that?
Can you acknowledge what Jane just said?
Yeah, I just said I acknowledge it.
But that's your standard for why he's a better president.
No, that was just a...
It was the first thing you said, was that at least he can speak complete sentences. These are complete sentences that just make no sense.
Okay,
so just to clarify, Trump did not... I just want to clarify, Trump does not make sense then. We're in agreement.
Sure, let's go, because that doesn't really matter in the whole proportion of it.
Then don't bring it up.
All right, so for the next one, let's talk about something that matters.
Sure. What about the wars that have been happening? All the people who have died. So Ukraine and Russia, how China have been...
I'm sorry, did Biden invade you? Biden invaded Ukraine? How is Biden responsible for this?
Because when you're the American president, you're essentially a president for the world and NATO because you're the world leader. So when Trump was president, he had a really good relationship.
What does this have to do? What does this have to do with how did Biden start a war in Ukraine? Biden didn't invade. Biden attempted to stop the war before it started. He offered concessions. In what way is it his fault? But
Trump, due to his relationship with Putin, it would never have happened. That's what happened.
It's called conjecture.
Yeah, that's
it wouldn't have
conjecture,
happened if Biden was in prison.
That's like saying World War II never would have happened if we elected Hoover.
But if they were talking about it, Trump was talking about it with Putin when he was in, and he said, don't do it, or he'll do certain things, and he never did it. As soon as he was elected out...
Okay, yeah, Donald Trump threatened to bomb Moscow. I would say that's not a good thing.
Yeah, but think of the thousands of lives that have been saved, especially in Ukraine.
By starting by shooting off and by blowing up Moscow and starting a nuclear holocaust. Yeah, that would save a lot of lives.
Did he ever do that?
You're saying that his approach was a good one, even though that would have been the outcome.
No, I'm saying that due to his threats, they would never have went into Ukraine.
So you think it's okay to just go around threatening to blow up capitals because of that? You think that's fine? You think that's good diplomacy?
Considering the lives that have been saved.
Okay, so let me ask you a question then. I just want to ask you a question then. I just want to ask you a question then.
How many people
if that's true,
zero.
Please listen. That's not true. So please listen for a second. So please stop. Thanks. Donald Trump has a good relationship with Putin then?
Yeah, I believe so.
See, because what you're saying is not making any sense because Donald Trump praised Putin for invading.
When did he do that?
He said Putin's a genius. He invaded a country for $2 worth of sanctions.
Yeah,
that's
his genius because he did it when he did it.
So Donald Trump had a relationship with Putin and could have leveraged it to stop the war and didn't.
But he wasn't in the house. He had no control over it. So how can he stop it?
Well, you're saying he had a good relationship with Putin.
Yeah, like exactly. But therefore when he's in it, when he's in the White House, it never happened.
But why can't he leverage that relationship when he's outside of the White House? Don't you think that doing things because Donald Trump, please stop. Thanks. Donald Trump is actively trying to undermine NATO, actively trying to dismantle it and leaving it.
Yeah, okay, go on.
So I don't understand in which way it's better. There's absolutely no way to know if a war would have outbreak. The fact that you're blaming Joe Biden's full-blown Biden derangement syndrome, just full-blown Biden derangement syndrome, absolutely wild. That somehow so Donald Trump is responsible for all of the conflicts that happened under his watch then, because there's a lot.
Well, how many wars happened when Trump was was in the White House?
Yeah, Donald Trump, right. He amplified the war in Yemen that killed 85,000 children. He amplified the drone program that killed 330% more Afghanistan civilians. He amplified the drone program across. Yes, we do. Yeah.
How? What?
That's just what
makes
we
me
know
believe
about.
it?
That's just what we know about, because those are the tracked drone strikes that occurred. Those are like verified drone strikes. We don't know if it's higher. We do know that that's the minimum, because Donald Trump got rid of the reporting requirements for drone programs. We also know that Donald Trump leaving the Kurds re-sparked the Kurdish-Turkish war. We know that for a fact.
So where's your reference? Where's your sources? Where, like, you're saying
Sources
we
for
know.
what?
Who's we?
Because we know for a fact that, because within days of Donald Trump abandoning the Kurds, the Turks started bombing again.
But
And
how
they had
do you?
been on a hiatus. They had been on a hiatus for years and years and years.
Okay, but that's cool. You're telling me that, but where's your evidence? That's like saying,
Okay,
to
all
me-
right, cool. Trump abandons Kurds. Trump abandons the Syrian Kurds. This is posted on October 7th, 2019.
Okay, and how many people died from that?
I'm pulling this up right now. I thought you said your metric was no war. People died, but is your metric no war or not? And you're moving the metric. Right here, October 9th, Turkey unleashes airstrikes against Kurds in northeast Syria 2 days after we left them.
So how many people, like, was it one person? Was it 200,000? You know,
I think the conflict resulted in the displacement of over 300,000 people and has caused the death of more than 70 civilians in Syria and 20 in Turkey. And I don't know if those are up-to-date numbers.
so 90 people compared to what's been happening in Ukraine.
Okay, so now your metrics moved. So 300,000 civilians displaced is not an issue for you.
But how many of them died?
That's not what I'm asking. 300,000 displaced. We're talking about, I don't know, over 1,000 people, 2,000 people that were killed, wounded, injured.
So it says 1,000, 2,000, 2,000.
Yeah, that's right. There's a bunch of different numbers. There's 520 civilians in Syria, unalived by Turkey, 22 civilians in Turkey, unalived by SDF, Syrian Defense Forces shelling. Yeah, 146 civilians unalived in Syria by TAF and SNA, which are factions there. This is the people that are unalived, 251. The Syrian interim government in Turkey, 12 in Turkey, 508. So I don't know, right around 2,000, something like that. And then there's 1,300 unalived or captured. So somewhere between 2,000 and 4,000, somewhere in there.
Right. So it's a lot less than what's been happening in other.
I don't know. Address the 85,000 children in Yemen.
What do you mean address them? Like explain what happened or
address them? Address Donald Trump setting up the withdrawal from Afghanistan and releasing 5,000 Taliban prisoners. Your argument is ridiculous because you guys were not paying attention to international conflicts. And then the moment the Biden takes over, you want to blame him for everything?
Well, I think that's got to do with... No, I don't think...
Listen, Joe Biden has nothing to do with Russia invading Ukraine. Sorry to tell you. Nothing.
How's that? Because he's a world leader.
It doesn't matter. He didn't invade a country. He didn't invade the country. It doesn't matter.
But he can.
It doesn't matter.
Relationships and avoid it. And
he tried. He tried. Yeah, he tried. And funny enough, do you know why Russia felt emboldened to enter Ukraine? I find this like the funniest thing. Do you know why that Russia felt emboldened to invade Ukraine?
Well, from what I believe, from what my understanding is, obviously they joined NATO and they didn't like that from the rough.
No, they didn't join. No, they didn't join NATO, and that's not what I asked. I asked you, do you know why Russia felt emboldened to invade Ukraine?
Go on, explain. Why did they?
Because Donald Trump spent 4 years undermining NATO. Putin thought that they were in larger disarray than they were.
So then why wouldn't he have just went when Trump was in?
Because he thought that Trump was going to... Because he was waiting to see if Trump had won. Because John Bolton stated that Donald Trump, this is John Bolton's word, stated that Donald Trump was going to leave NATO in his second term. So if the United States isn't in NATO, Putin can do whatever he wants. So why wouldn't he wait?
So if Trump won, say... back in 2020, you were saying that Putin still would have invaded.
Do I think he would? I don't think that he would have invaded under Trump because he's getting everything he wants. But I think if Trump had won, please stop talking. If Trump had won, NATO wouldn't exist anymore, which would be advantageous for Putin.
How would NATO not exist? It consists of
because Donald Trump has consistently talked about leaving NATO. He talks about it all the time. He talked about it recently. So you guys are selling this thing out for because the conflict happened right now doesn't matter. The invasion of Ukraine was going to happen. The reason Putin didn't do it through the Trump presidency is because Trump was easily manipulatable. He was giving Putin everything he wanted. He's going after NATO. He was attacking them. He was undermining them. He was trying to leave NATO. He was undermining NATO countries in the Eastern Bloc. He doesn't know anything about geopolitical conflicts or nothing. So you guys saying that, oh, the war broke out now, as opposed to 10 years down the road when we can do less about it and Russia is more prepared, or not even 10, 6 years down the road where Russia's more prepared.
But you said
it's not going to matter anyways. Russia's going, no, it's not. It wouldn't have happened in Biden's second term or in Biden's first term. It would have happened after Trump's second. Like so that's the whole point. So what do you get? So let's look at the outcome, right? Like look at the outcome here. If Donald Trump had pulled out of NATO, okay, you end up with a situation where NATO is weaker, Ukraine is not getting funded. When that invasion happens, a mass genocide is going to happen to even greater extent than it already did because they don't have any weapons to defend themselves and Donald Trump doesn't want to give them any.
Okay, so that's if
he doesn't want to give them any. So then you're talking, but we'll look at that after the Trump presidency. He's pulled out of NATO and he's everything up. There's no hope for Ukraine. And they're not in a position where they have like unanimity and they're doing well. Or you had the conflict now where you have Joe Biden that's funneled them weapons and they now have, I don't know, destroyed over half the Russian heavy armor corps. Like Russia doesn't have a usable heavy armor corps. They're out of missiles. They're running low on bullets, artillery. Well, I think they still have quite a bit of artillery left, but they're running out of a lot of stuff like guns. They don't have the barrels to replace on tanks. And China takes the opportunity to move on Taiwan. I want to think, this is like the important geopolitical aspect here. China was very, very, very close to invading Taiwan. Very close. They had plotted that they were going to do it by I think they said 2027, but some generals said 2025. They now know that that's not possible. Okay. They now know that it's not possible.
Okay, so that's well and good and all, but all of that is based on what if Trump was to pull out of NATO? What if he doesn't? You know what I mean? Because he hasn't, and the fact of the matter is him pulling out of NATO is very complicated. What if he doesn't?
He's already been talking about it relentlessly. He's already been talking about it relentlessly. He's talking about it right now.
But he's never done it. It's really complicated to just pull out of something that big.
Does it not, let me ask you a question. Does it not concern you that a president of the United States doesn't even know how NATO works?
You don't know that. How do you know that he doesn't know how it works? How do you know that he doesn't know how it works?
Because he still talks about it regularly. He thinks that like NATO pays, he thinks that like NATO pays into like this giant fund and they're not paying enough for their money. That's not what's happening. He still thinks that you just take money and you put it into a pool for NATO and that's how they're funded. That's not how it works. And he still reiterates it.
I'm sure he knows.
And just to be clear, someone's saying, oh, well, now it's okay to use conjecture. No, it's not unbiased conjecture. We know that Putin wanted to invade. The question is when. I can't tell you when after Trump's presidency it would have happened, but he would have done it because he was planning to. He had every intention to. Right. The question is, at what point is it beneficial for the United States to get involved? And this was the most advantageous time because Donald Trump wants to cut funding to Ukraine.
Because it's costing the country so much money.
Not your country.
But still.
Focus on your own.
We're sweet, man. We're not in the like America. You guys are up.
You know what's costing us a lot of money? Backing your guys' ass up in the South China Sea. That's costing us a lot of money. You're welcome, by the way. Why don't you call for an end to that? Yeah. Put your own lives at risk. Why you got to put ours?
We appreciate that, but maybe you should sort your own out before you go over to the other side of the world.
I'm telling you, you understand that we're running joint operations with you because your government is particularly concerned about China's influence over the South China Sea. You're aware of that we're sending our resources into the South China Sea to aid your country.
Yeah, it's called an alliance. It's literally...
Yeah, but isn't that a waste of money? But that's the same thing Donald Trump is saying. We're providing funds to help you guys out. And you're saying that's not a problem.
Out of it as well.
I guess we get to help you.
Yeah, everyone loves Australia, but
so if you were invaded by China, if we were invaded by China, you do not want the United States to help. I'm just asking. Absolutely. You don't want the United States. You don't want the United States to help.
Of course, obviously.
Oh, now I do. Well, now it's fine. Yeah.
But what does that?
So you won't help, but so the Ukraine don't help Ukrainians, but help you.
Help them because we have a closer alliance. We have a way closer alliance than Ukraine. We're in NATO, but we're also the I forget what it's called,
Right.
but
I will tell you
England
this right
and
now.
America.
I will tell you this right now definitively. Ukraine is more important to United States defense and security than your country is.
Why's that?
Because Ukraine is destroying one of our major adversaries in battle. You guys are just taking our resources in the South China Sea.
We're not taking you. You're giving them to
Right.
us.
According
where are
to
you from,
Donald Trump, you
Australia?
are. According to Donald Trump, you are.
From Australia, right?
Yeah,
Were they one of the signatories of the Budapest Memorandum, or was America?
America.
Okay. But how is it that you've got a greater relationship?
Because it dates back since like centuries, like World War One, when we helped England. When the English came over to Australia, settled. It all dates back.
To what exactly? What is that? How does that relate to Ukraine?
He brought up the South.
Right. But you made the claim that Australia has been a stronger ally to Ukraine than America has.
100%.
How so?
Well, like I just said, it dates back. You look at World War One, World War
Dates back
Two.
to what? What happened?
World War One, like say World War One, World War Two, for an example. We both went over to help our mates, which is essentially England, the English.
After they
When
sent you to a
the
penal
Vietnam
colony,
The
man.
Vietnam War.
Then why
That's
didn't you guys
abusive
join NATO
behavior.
after World War II?
Wait, what?
Why didn't you join NATO then?
We're a part. What do you mean we didn't join NATO? We did.
No, Australia's not a part of NATO.
Yes, we are.
No, you're not.
I'm gonna look. 'Cause I don't know. I don't think so. Sorry, are you North American? I think not. Or sorry, are you North Atlantic? I think not. Yeah, you guys aren't in it.
NATO.
No, you're not. You're one of the five eyes countries, and you're an ally. But I don't. What are you listed as for purposes of? They have okay. You're global partners.
Well, there you go. You take that. There you go. Close enough. No, okay. So we're not a part of the NATO.
You're listed as a global.
That was a trick
partner.
question, by the way. You should know that you're not a part of NATO. Because what's NATO?
Oh, the North Atlantic.
There you go.
But essentially, America and Australia are a lot closer
Back to my burrito.
to a lot of NATO countries. Don't you think? Like Australia and America are a lot closer than a lot of countries are with America and other NATO countries.
Sure.
Well, it's true, right? We.
But I just think you need to pay your fair share, you know?
What do you mean?
You guys need to pay your fair share. The Russian missile stockpile is so low that after each attack, they have to stop for 2 months and build up enough stockpile to have a chance at breaching Ukrainian air defense. It's actually true. They are relying on North Korea and Iran for ballistic missiles and artillery shells, and their economy is starting to suffer with news coming out today of Putin thinking of introducing new taxes because the war costing them something $300 million a day. That's a total cost of $228 billion since the war began. Also, Australia has only given $960 million in aid to Ukraine. Also, that does not include the rearmament and defense spending costs Russia has done.
Okay. Is there anything that Trump's done, in your opinion, that is better than Biden?
No, he lost. That was pretty good. I love that for him. He should do that again.
Do you think he'll win this year?
Nope.
Trump, no. Can you
So
tell
there's
me 3 good things Trump has done?
3 good things from what, an Australian point of view or for America?
Yes.
Well, one, that it goes back to the wars. There was none of this China, Taiwan talk, Ukraine, Russia talk. The economy was at its greatest. The unemployment rate was at its lowest.
I'm asking you for
Slowest now.
specifically what he did. But we have the lowest
What-
unemployment rate under Biden, the highest Dow Jones numbers. What did Donald Trump do specifically? What policies did he enact that caused those things to happen?
Well, he's self-fundable. He doesn't need to make money.
Okay, what's the policy?
So you said that he did this thing that was good. You said low unemployment. What policy? Like, what did he write into law? What did he sign? What did he do to cause, these numbers to be good or something,
Well, creating more jobs. You can't. Surely you can't see that. Like the unemployment. Like you got to be at least somewhat fair. Like the
That's the lowest
unemployment.
now.
I'm asking you for a policy that he's done. We have under Joe Biden the lowest unemployment that we've ever had. We are energy independent for the first time under Biden in like 50 or 60 years. Now, does that mean that he did these things? No, not really. No, I mean, he did invest money, but he's not solely responsible for it. right? So we're able to point to the acts that he passed, the PACS Act, the CHIPS Act, the Chips and Science Act, the American Recovery Plan, the Infrastructure Bill, the Inflation Reduction Act, capping insulin. The list goes on. Those are policies, things he enacted that were good. We're asking you for things that Donald Trump did that were good.
Yeah, right. Fair enough. All right, I got nothing. You win.
All right,
Okay.
cool. Take care.
Well, you may go.
Wait, question before I go.
Yeah.
Do you think if Trump was to get in 2024, will the world go to
Yeah.
He's gonna try and overthrow the United States government again so that he doesn't have to face criminal prosecution.
Okay, fair enough. All right, good luck.
All right.